Talking Tuesday. It's what we do. We just sit around, smoke a pound, and talk about what we do in the cannabis world. We gon' let you know how the business go on a brand new show. Talking Tuesday. Show you how to do it right.
Yo, welcome to Talking Tuesday, where we have real cannabis players talking real cannabis issues. I got to my right, and I'm sitting over here on the other side. Today, we switching it up a little bit. I got to my right Marco and Ruvie in the house, and we gonna get down to some real stuff today. We were just sitting here shooting the shit, talking about our man Denzel.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? He got a few more movies up in him.
And it's out.
You know what I'm saying? And then he's out, but
gracefully.
We said, he had one of the most illustrious careers in the industry and unblemished. Like, he's a brother who made it out unscathed in an industry that is very vicious. Mm-hmm. The film industry. And I always think back to the beginning, and a shout out to my man Harry O, who was really the one who got Denzel started on his path. Harry O is now a part of Death Row, which he was always a part of Godfather Entertainment, which became Death Row, which Suge took over. And y'all know the story. If y'all didn't, go watch that it's on all the streaming platforms where it'll give you the history of how Death Row started. But it really was supposed to be Harry O, the owner, him and Suge as a partnership. But, things happen different. And now full circle, you got Snoop and Harry O, in control of Death Row once again. Which is, hey, that's how things happen. Everything,
back
in life comes back full circle. You know what I'm saying? You think about how full circle. I think about my life as full circle. Mm-hmm. How, I've been through what I've been through and then still came back and I'm still here doing what I'm doing. Even with the Reggae on the River, how I met a grower. And then now my first year at Reggae on the River as a vendor, I am the grower.
Right.
That people are coming to meet me now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of full circle. But we want to jump in. We did have a guest that was supposed to appear today. Unfortunately, they had some pressing issues, personal issues.
Got you.
That caused them not to come. But they have confirmed
that they'll be here
next week.
Okay.
And that is going to be exciting. So I do want to key you guys up for that one. This is a person who was in the industry or who was getting into the industry, kind of sold everything. And I won't, spoil, but I'll give you a preview. Kind of sold everything that took a chance to come into this industry, banking on that they would get into the industry because back then DCR said that you had to have property. So they sold property to buy property to get into the industry, for them not even get a license. And kind of promised that opportunity through, how everybody was bamboozled early on. Yeah. We don't talk enough about that part of the industry and how DCR and certain moves that the city of Los Angeles has made that has decimated. And we have to throw in the Office of Finance, has decimated this industry. And the reason why I bring that up is because I'm going to read an email. I got today. I got this email at 3 o'clock.
This afternoon?
3:50 something today, right?
This afternoon, yep.
Yeah, from DCR. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just going to read to you, what they sent me. Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick like it. But while I'm pulling this up.
Let's start chiefing.
Yeah.
Okay. What you got there, Ruvie?
Yeah.
So
talk to us.
It looks like I have a dusted blunt OG. So tell me a little bit more. You told me earlier that.
So our dusted blunt is one of California cannabis finest. It is a handcrafted. Everything we do here is handcrafted, not machine rolled.
Nice.
Handcrafted.
That's all the love.
It is painted with oil, rolled in Keefe, with a glass tip, blunt style. But that is a hemp. Ooh,
That's
wee.
a fatty.
Oh yeah, that thing gonna get you.
Ooh, wee. That is a hemp wrap.
That gonna get you.
True
Man,
right
when she
there.
pulled that out, boy, mouth start
I
watering.
got high just looking at it.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, ooh wee. That one, hey man, that one right
Hey.
there, boy.
Let
The
me
way
see,
it came
Ruby.
up out that
Smell it.
jar, wee.
Let me jump
Hey,
over
so
there.
anyway, y'all can come to any California cannabis location
Wow.
and get this right here. Retails at $20 a pop. It is a 1.5 gram blunt packed with OG, CC OG, one of our signature strains.
OG head, and you can
the one.
smell this OG.
Hey, Virgil, let me
Exactly.
Haven't lit it up, so.
Virgil, let me add something on.
That's a
So-
snow cone.
Maybe, you know, it probably got the
So the snow cone is the same
yeah,
thing.
got the THCA
Yeah.
with the flower.
Man, come on, it's heavily rolled,
Heavily rolled.
heavily dripped down. Hey,
from the
when they
outside
when
as
they
well.
when y'all talk about your drip, I see you, baby. When you talk about your drip, oh, it's dripping. Talk to
Hey.
me, Keefe.
Hey, and then another thing, we didn't use tobacco. This is actually a hemp CBD. So you're going to get that CB2 receptor and you're going to get the cannabis. So it's the best of both worlds right there in that
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
That's really good.
Talk to me. Ooh wee.
Wow, once it lets me talk.
Oh yeah. Well, talk to me. All right. Well, what it tastes like, Ruvie?
You can definitely use that OG in there. The glass tip makes it smooth.
Right on. Makes it real smooth, huh?
Makes the airflow
And then
real
it still
smooth.
has
Yeah.
that slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's burning perfect. It's not side burning. You know how sometimes dusted one's side burn?
Yeah.
It's even.
So you can definitely tell this is hand rolled with love.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not no machine that just half-assed, you know?
And we handcrafted that.
Wow. 10 out of 10.
So here, I'm gonna read this to y'all from DCR. 2025 renewal payments deferral. Now, in case y'all don't really understand what this means, we were supposed to pay our fees a month ago. We got an email out, right? Excuse me, to pay our fees. And what they didn't tell you in DCR, and let me show you how the games are being played here. What DCR didn't tell you is that your fees were going to quadruple, not double, not triple, but quadruple. They didn't tell you that. They sent you an invoice out and say you got 30 days to pay it. So somebody like myself who's used to paying maybe a $8,000 or $9,000 invoice, I get an invoice telling me
40,000.
30,000
For each one.
for each one. So for somebody like myself, that's 3 times, right? That's $100,000 I'm paying, right? And you giving me 30 days to pay that. So that was a problem or an issue.
Yeah.
And I know it was a problem or an issue with the industry, right? So what happened is I'm sure people came in and started complaining.
Yep.
So they extended it, right, until the 2nd, which was yesterday, was the deadline, right? But look at this. DCR sends me an email today. Well, the deadline was on December 2nd. I get an email on December 3rd telling me the Department of Cannabis Regulations is deferring its licensing application renewal deadline to Tuesday, December 31st. So guess what? What about me man, you don't know what I went through to try to get that money to DCR.
Yeah. But they're known to do that.
But see, that's the bullshit.
They're known to do that.
That's the bullshit involved. Let me tell you something. First of all, if DWP is going to raise their fees, they send you a letter a year in advance in the mail saying, you know, hey, customer, DWP customer, come 2024 July or January 1st.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know, we're going to raise our fees, what do they say, 15, 20%, whatever the hell they going to raise it, right? But never do they raise their fees and then tell you got a month to deal with it. Who does that?
Yeah.
And this is a department that continues to disrespect
That's all
the
the social
very
equity
industry that they are leaning on, that they're getting their paycheck by, that the city is surviving off of, and we sit around as an industry and say nothing. Now, I'm going to point out real quickly the players that I blame for this the most, right? And also they put in red, please note applicants and licensees who do not pay their deferral annual license application fees will not be allowed to refile. So if you don't make it to this deadline,
you can't refile. You lose your business.
You lose your business.
You lose your business.
Now, let me just expose something to y'all. I was 3 days late paying my fees. You remember that?
Yeah.
In the very beginning. The reason why they even have extensions, deferral fees, and all this shit is because of me. Because they went to take all 3 of my licenses, and it took a year for me to get them back. So I didn't have licenses for a whole year. That means they took my business away from me for a whole year, where I could not operate in the city of Los Angeles because I was 2 days late paying my licensing fees. What industry does that? What industry regulator does that to an industry? And these are some of the things that people are unaware of that we have to deal with as owners and operators. Now, keep in mind, we were the reason why they made it and survived financially through COVID.
That's true.
Right.
Without us, man, the city wouldn't even have the money they had in their coffer if it wasn't for the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
But they continue. I'm gonna give you an example of what I feel this is like. And Ruvie, you probably understand it better than we do.
Yeah.
It's like a woman being good to a man and he's still kicking on her ass.
Cool. I think a lot of women know what that's like.
It's like she cook, clean, and do everything for him, make sure the bed is made up, the house is clean, and he's still whipping on her ass.
Not only that, he's still talking bad about you. So now people look at you like you're a bad person, not knowing what you're dealing with. Because people assume the cannabis industry is all luxury and everyone has money. But they don't even know the half of it, you know? So it's like this is a major issue that no one out there really knows that all business owners are dealing with.
And they don't know it because they not in it and they don't deal with it. But back to who I said I'm going to blame.
Yeah, you said the players,
I'm blaming the players in the industry, right? Because we sit around and allow this shit to happen. Let this have been maybe Sunkiss. Let this have been R.J. Reynolds.
That's true.
Let this have been Hennessy or one of them major corporations. Man, they'd have filed a lawsuit and levied it against whatever county, country, city, state. They'd have levied the lawsuit against it. And they'd have made their voice heard and heard loud and clear and would have backed them up. The problem is, and I get to you, brother, the problem is we don't do enough as industry players to do that. Now, who I'm going to really blame is not people like myself, the little guy. I'm going to blame them suckers that own 20 shops, 30 shops, because you basically saying you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You understand me? You eating and thriving off of this same industry, but when it's time to fight for this industry, where you at? Because ain't none of these cats that I know in the industry right now that got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shops gave a dime to Measure M. Didn't give a dime to social equity.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? But you eating off of this shit. You feel me? So, you know, talk to me, Keefe.
So this is one of the things I want to point out about what you're saying. When you go back and look at the original founding fathers of America, when they signed the Declaration of Independence, basically that was their way of basically saying enough is enough. Like we got taxation without representation, and you just keep on taking from us. And at a certain point, we drew the line in the sand. And Virgil, when you say that, you know what resonates with me? We need another
Boston Tea
march
Party,
on
baby.
Washington. Yeah,
Boston
well, wait a minute.
Tea
Look, not
Party.
only Boston Tea Party, but we need to march on Washington for access to cannabis without all of this BS, because it just done went beyond the was comprehensible. That's the problem now.
No, I agree with you 100%, Keefe, and you dead on with that. The biggest issue that we have is that for some reason people have gotten their licenses and they feel thankful.
Yeah.
I'm not thankful I got my goddamn license.
Right.
I deserve to have this license. I fought for this license. I'm one of the players that stood on the front line in front of the face of law enforcement, government, and everything else to move this agenda forward. I'm not happy or thankful that I got this goddamn license. No, I fought for this motherfucker, and I deserve this license because I fought to get this license. And the fight, people like myself and other colleagues, we had one on the show, Oliver, people like him and myself, we the reason that these cats are in the industry
100%.
with licenses.
Yep, 100%.
You understand me? So we should not be afraid to speak up for what we fought for. We weren't afraid to speak up when we were fighting. None of us was afraid to go down to the city of Los Angeles in 2007 in November 14th and put our name on that list and register as a pre-ICO.
Yeah. I think what it is,
But a lot of those players, unfortunately, are not even in the industry.
Not even in
today.
the industry. And I think I think for me living through that time as well, I think what happened is once you gave people a taste of legality, it's almost like, this analogy is gonna be weird, but it's almost like the middle class, where the middle class is just happy to be where they're at. They're not gonna strive to be extremely better or anything. You know, they're just happy where they're at. And I think what happened is a lot of us we lost that fight because everybody thinks.
Feel like we settled.
You feel, yeah, people have all settled. Everyone thinks this is the okay. And I think that dog in them, nobody got that dog in them no more, because we've been, the government and the council have been given enough. Each time they give people just enough to keep making them feel like, oh, well, we're
like
getting
they're doing
somewhere.
something, or they're
We're
doing
getting
something for
somewhere.
us, yeah.
But we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the dog that existed during your fight, we wouldn't be where we are. But that dog is gone, because again, the people who are in it don't have that background. They didn't have
The activism background.
they didn't. It wasn't anything that mattered to them.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, many of your peers, a lot of them are gone.
Yeah, and the sad part about it is they reap the benefits of our suffrage and our fight. It's just like, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, right? Because somebody has to go out there and fight the fight, right?
Yeah.
Martin Luther King had to sacrifice. Malcolm X had to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Angela Davis, the people in the Panther Party. You know, now that people are educated enough to know that the Panther Party wasn't that group that the government said they were. You know what I'm saying? That they were actually a group that was trying to just protect their own community from police brutality, which was very, very much existed back in the day, and just wanted fair and equal rights. They were the ones who started the lunch program, which, I mean the breakfast program, where when you go to school, you have breakfast at school in the morning. And the lunch program, the Panther Party started that. That was now introduced in school. So everybody that gets a warm breakfast or a breakfast and a lunch in school, you got the Panther Party to thank for that. That wasn't our government. That wasn't some righteous group, so to speak, that came through and did. That was the Panther Party, the real righteous group that fought to make sure that kids didn't go to school and could focus on their education, not their aching belly because they didn't have food or breakfast in the morning. So getting back to people like that, they fought for the progression of everybody else, and now everybody else can take advantage of that. We fought for legalization so that everybody else could take advantage of it. I think what grieves me is that people don't look back and I always say this, if I played basketball, I would always pay homage to the Dr. J's, the Magic Johnsons, the Kobe's, the Shaqs, the Larry Birds, the so on and so forths, right? The Michael Jordans, right? Because that's who were the greats in the game. Those were the people. If it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be basketball to the level that it is today.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I definitely want to share is how the industry was laid out. Like part of what you expect a regulatory body to do is to basically line up your supply and your demand. So from the very beginning, they allowed cultivation and manufacturing, but you didn't have dispensaries, or you didn't have a means to be able to get rid of the cannabis that you were growing. So, just as far as the business acumen and allowing businesses to grow and network together, I think they felt us right out the gate with that. The second thing is when you look at initially they said that we had to secure property in order to get the license. So we paying rent on property. I think I end up paying rent for 18 months before I got the first 2 licenses, and then 36 months altogether before I got, all 4 of the licenses. So part of, what I want to point out with the unfairness is it was the stop and starts. Every time the city had a lawsuit against them, they held everybody up. And then here's something else that I want to share. When my late partner, Donnie Anderson, passed away, the city basically sat on the license for 9 months while they decided on how to, transfer the license from a social equity person into his daughter who was in his will. So again, all of these things are things that stop the business and stop any type of, networking, basically for the point of crossing T and dotting I.
I think the sad part about that, Keefe, is the fact that us being in the industry, and we can be paying our taxes, paying our license fees, and doing everything that the city asks us to do. And like you said, when it comes to an issue, excuse me, of us saying, hey, there are 2 or 3 shops down the street from me that are unlicensed, but they are affecting me, the licensee, the one who's paying the taxes, the one who's doing what you required and asked us to do. Like Janet Jackson say, what have you done for me lately? I'm doing for you constantly, every day, all day.
Right.
But what are you doing to help me?
Right.
And I think that is the biggest problem that we have. How could there ever be a unlicensed, unregulated shop, manufacturer, or grow anywhere near us, anywhere around us, doing harm to our business, but we're paying taxes and you don't go and regulate them to make sure that they're either compliant or paying taxes. If they're going to be there, then give them a license and make them pay taxes too.
Come on now.
Then we could call it fair.
Right.
Then it could be real fair competition, because then now we could compete. You understand me? And
that goes back to our episode last week when I got
don't make me pay licensing fees. I don't want to pay no taxes, and let me get my grind on like they getting their grind on. Let it be episode. One or the other.
Yes.
But don't let it be.
Don't regulate for some of us and not regulate for some
all of us.
Let the playing field be even the playing field. Let the hustlers hustle. At that point, who wins is the one with the most work ethic.
It'd
Like
be, man,
at that point,
I'm gonna tell
at
you
that
who's
point,
gonna
you
win.
it's the one that can outwork the other one.
The
It's not
true
so
hustler
much,
is gonna win.
yeah,
The
it's
true
not
hustler
the
is
one
gonna
who
win.
has the license opportunity and et cetera, et cetera. Nah, man, it's the one that busts his butt, man.
Yeah, let
I
me
mean,
get it like
pause or
everybody
whatever,
else.
but people.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
So this is kind of the tone of the industry at the present time.
Mhm.
I want you guys to be very clear. There is something going on in this industry, and it's bubbling and right on the surface, and it's about to blow.
Mhm.
Yes.
But nobody's aware of that. When I
Uh-huh.
see a department like this continuing to send out deferral fees, emails, something going on. Because if people was paying their fees on time, would nobody be sending out no deferrals?
Oh no, but I
Right.
mean, we all know across the board, it's everyone's no one's trying to pay these things, and many cannot, especially the social equity people.
Come on,
They're
man.
suffering the most.
Exactly.
Hey,
A
Marco,
lot
They're
of
not
them are
paying
trying
these.
to
They're the ones in debt.
sell their license for
but
pennies
Marco,
on the dollar, which
here,
I said that
Debt.
back in
I feel bad
2019,
for some of
20.
them.
I told him, I said, man, I said, a lot of these cats within 2 to 3 years are gonna be trying to sell their license for pennies on the dollar. And unfortunately, and I didn't want to say it because I'm want bad to happen. I'm saying it because I'm a realist and I know reality. And I know a lot of these people that got into this industry, they ain't like us.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't like us. They ain't real players at this
That
shit.
be out there doing it, getting reviews because of you.
Come on, man. Come on.
hey, so wait, here's something else that I want to add. So just the regulations that's around cannabis. Most hotels, but agreements with alcohol companies, they can't have anything that's going to directly compete with the alcohol inside the hotel. And it's like even with your life insurance, if you're a user of cannabis, it could actually void your life insurance. So there's not only some descheduling that has to go on, but there's some what I call cannabis has to be removed off of certain lists in order for us to have a free and equitable market.
Even with
Right now,
gun ownership,
we got
you know,
our legs tied behind our back and trying to run a marathon.
yeah, and even with gun ownership,
Yep, that too.
like
Yep.
and that's for some of us who love our guns. Like that's not cool. That you're telling me I can't be involved in weed and I can't own a gun.
I mean,
Well, obviously you could be a smoker, but as business owners, et cetera, et cetera.
the sad part about it, we all know that there are people out there that do what they want to.
Mm-hmm.
They do what they want to because they can. We understand that on so many different levels. And if you don't understand that on the greatest level, just look at your president of the United States. Look how he's pardoning his son.
Right.
His son admitted he went into court and didn't try to fight it. He didn't go to court and extend this thing out. He admitted to what he did. And what he did flat out. He did was that 1.5 million tax evasion, and then he lied on his gun application and say he didn't do drugs and he was tooting cocaine, and probably the same day he went there to go sign that application. Come on, man, let's keep this shit real. If we gonna be real, keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you snort cocaine, I snort cocaine. Okay, then say what you do. But don't lie about it and then expect to get privilege for it. You see what I'm saying? And I bring that point out is because there are those that play by a different set of rules.
Yeah.
And we know that there are those that play by a different set of rules and they can do what they feel, how they feel, whereas we sit here and try to play by the rules and we get fucked by the rules every time.
Right. That's why there's the rules.
Them rules is for us. Them rules ain't never been for nobody else. You think about since a rule was laid down in this country, that rule was never
A rule
for the person who wrote the rule. It was always for the person that they was trying to affect by the rule that they created.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's why taxes, every time somebody say we're gonna make the rich pay taxes, that's foolish. They got lawyers to prevent themselves from paying the taxes. Do you have those
Exactly.
same lawyers?
Come on. They wrote the rules for the rich.
Come on.
They didn't write the rules for the poor. And that's the thing I'm trying to say. Just like when you think about when they released the slaves from slavery, the first thing they created was a flagrant rule.
Yeah,
That
anti-law.
rule wasn't written for white folks that had jobs and families and kids and had something to do with their lives. That was for those that just got released from slavery and knew that they didn't have no job or nothing to do because their job was gone.
Yeah.
And so they knew that they would be in the streets, and that was another way of putting a crime on them, that they could put them back in bondage, so to speak, make them so-called pay a fine, knew they couldn't pay the fine, so in return, we gonna get some indentured servants, which is basically bottom line slavery all over again, just renamed in a different way. And so if you couldn't pay that fine, you come work these crops and work that fine off. And they made sure them fines got a lot of labor up out of them for free once again. What it was, we rewrite the rules to fit those that we want them to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The same shit that y'all doing, y'all want to send me to prison for. The same shit that y'all out there finagling and skimming and scheming and scamming on, you trying to take my license for. You trying to boost fees up on me. You know what I'm saying? And all this stuff. But look how you playing it. So all I'm saying is that let's keep it fair. It's like, it's like the fight ain't fair. It's like it's 3 against 1. You know what I'm saying? At
So-
least give me a fair one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
But they
Virgil,
not even giving out fair fights.
You point out a really, really good situation. And let's just talk about the 13th Amendment, where it says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall be duly convicted shall exist within the United States. Now think about this for a second. Here we had a president's son that was convicted of a crime, and instead of him have to do the time, daddy came in and pardoned him. Now, just think about this for a second. 1.8 million black and brown people went to jail for cannabis use or possession. Where were they pardons at?
Yeah, exactly. Tax invasion. Where were the tax invaders' pardons? Where were the drug crime pardons? You a cokehead.
Come on,
And
man.
there's cats that did 30-some years in jail for cocaine, 20-some years in jail for cocaine, and they didn't even admit that they did it.
Come on,
This
man.
cat went to court and admitted that he did it, and he ain't serving no time for the crime. You know what I'm saying? So for people like us that come from the communities we come from that's been ravished and we grew up during the failed war on drugs, yeah, we feel disrespected,
Yeah.
totally disrespected. And all those Democrats out there that supported Joe Biden and his administration and all of that, and Kamala Harris being a part of it, you should reach back and slap yourself, because this is what you supporting. But you want to say what Trump doing, but that's the whole thing. Trump is y'all smoke screen that they put up there while the Democrats is over here doing what they doing. You throwing up that smoke screen saying what Trump is doing, but you ain't paying attention what's going on in your own house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm just a realist. I keep it real. Whether you want to call it hating on the Democrats or whatever, regardless, I'm for whatever makes sense and what's right.
Yeah,
You feel me?
And I've seen Little Red Riding Hood, and I know that there's wolves in sheep's clothing all day.
Come on, it's always wolves
I
in
hate
sheep's
to be
clothing.
that guy, but I see them wolves in sheep's clothing all day.
Yeah. So I mean, we just here to kind of keep it real about what we see. I'm even go even a step further. You have President, and I'm gonna just speak on this briefly. President Trump was talking to the president of Mexico, talking about putting tariffs on, right? She want to bark back and say, well, if you put tariffs on us, we're gonna put tariffs on you. I listened to that, kind of chuckled to myself and laughed. Like, what kind of tariffs you gonna put? What kind of tariffs is Mexico gonna put on California or the United States that's gonna hurt us?
Right.
Like, really? That's like you you tapping me, really? And I just fired on you. That's just what it's like. And that was a tap. Hers was a tap. But she realized that Trump said what he said and he meant what he meant. So she circled back around and say, okay, Trump, whatever you say, we gonna go on and agree with that. And guess who else? The same with the president of Canada. He want to bark back on the tariffs, but then they all understood, you getting ready to shut us out? Come on, Canada can't shut us out. Mexico can't shut us out. That's one thing, right?
Right.
So when they talk about what Trump do, he keep it real and play it serious. Another thing, Mexico is tired. Now it's gonna sound crazy coming from people in California, but Mexico or just people in the US, Mexico is tired of the immigrants.
Mm.
Y'all don't even know that because y'all don't pay attention to the real news. Y'all listen to that fake news.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico is tired of the immigrants. The people in Mexico are complaining about all of the immigrants that are using Mexico as a runway. All of the people that aren't Mexican citizens that are using the runway. We're talking Venezuelans, we're talking Guatemalans, we're talking Africans, we're talking Haitians, we're talking Koreans, Asians, we're talking everybody but Mexicans are using Mexico as a passageway to run up here to the United States. And Mexico is tired of it. And Trump said it got to stop. So he tell the Mexican government, you need to protect your most southern borders from people coming up through there. And then they won't be able to get to the Mexico United States border. And guess what? She had to agree with that. You feel me? Because Trump said it's getting ready to be a problem. And I'm serious about this problem. See, that's the type of but she should want to do that. She should want to do that for her own people who have issues and problems about what's going on, because you got babies being washed in the streets, food being cooked in the middle of their neighborhoods in the streets. Like a lady was out there cooking a chicken and she had just wrung and cooked that chicken right in the middle of the street. Who wants that done? That's like that's like an immigrant coming in on your block and get in the middle of the street and just fire up a grill and cook the chicken right in the middle of the street. And then she pop up something, get a bucket and start washing her baby in the middle of the street. You don't want that shit in your neighborhood. Don't nobody want that in their neighborhood. Because then guess what? Property value going down. And then that $1 million investment that you just made ain't worth shit.
Nobody want to live there.
Come on, man. And so that's how the people in a lot of people in
they feel it.
Mexico is feeling about what the fuck. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, getting back to the lecture at hand, this industry is really in a very pivotal point right now, where we have to really watch what's going on in this industry. California always leads the way to other states and other situations.
Virgil, I have a question. Hey, did you guys see what Robert F. Kennedy, this is Trump's pick for the Department of Health Service? The change that he wants to do with prescription medicine and to have more cannabis and mushrooms. What do you guys think that would look like?
So, I mean, I think that one, if he is on the page of just taking it off the schedule all ago, then he's going down the right path. Anything less than that, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. Descheduling to me is like decriminalization. And what do I mean by that? When you, and I've said this before, if you guys ever heard me talk about decrim, decrim is terrible. When you decriminalize something, that's all you do. It is still a crime. I can still, you just lessen the crime.
Yeah.
But it's still a
The
crime.
punishment.
So I can still give you a ticket. That ticket can still turn into a warrant, and you can still go to jail.
Yeah.
Same way if you don't pay your parking ticket, it turns into, your driving ticket. It turns into a warrant,
Yep.
which is a misdemeanor infraction.
Period.
Well, it's not even, I don't even know if it's a misdemeanor. It's an infraction.
It's an infraction, yeah.
It turns from an infraction into a warrant and means your ass is going to jail, right? So that's what decrim does. And I need you guys to really understand that. So when we talk about descheduling, it's the same thing. It's no different. It's still on the schedule list as an issue or a problem or a crime if so-called handled a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It should be just like any other alcohol, tobacco. Those are they're on no scheduled list, but we know what they can do.
Right.
We know alcohol gets you high and drunk as hell. Have you where you damn near can't even function properly, which to me is worse than anything. Like marijuana, like I don't know anybody that smoked so much weed they can't function unless they was at home and just went to sleep. That was it. Let me ask you this question, and we're gonna close on a few of these notes. Where do you think the industry is going? What would you like to see for the industry? And which direction would you like to see the industry going?
Well, definitely number one, cannabis being treated like any other commodity, giving us opportunity to, get into NFL arenas, NBA arenas, just like a person should be able to go and see a NBA game or NFL game and enjoy a beer. I think that they should be able to go and enjoy that same NFL, NBA, MLLB with a toke. And what I would like to see the industry, I would like to see entertainment embrace it more from a standpoint. Cannabis has no card.
Where the industry is right now, I think it's in a crappy place. I'm just gonna be straight up. I think it's in a crappy place.
Yeah.
And I think that it needs to have a 180-degree turnaround and go in the opposite direction. Where I would like to see this industry is I would like to see it come back home to the real players. I would like to see the culture of this industry and the real players who partook in this industry and made it what it is today to be able to come back. This was a industry of hippies and people who thought outside the box and people who just thought different, who looked at life from a different perspective, but who looked at a life from a great and advancement with a little bit of love and care perspective, but also a giving, loving, caring type of way. I believe that you can do business and you can still love and care for people. We wouldn't have your medical industry with physicians that you enjoy when you go to your physician and your physician gets to give you the positive news or the good news or even news that you need to do to help yourself. You appreciate your physician. You talk about, oh, that's my doctor. You take pride in your doctor that has been your doctor. And then you talk about, oh, well, my doctor is my kid's doctor that birthed my first child, that birthed my mama's child, that birthed my daddy's child, that birthed. You take pride in that.
Yeah.
The same pride we had in this industry. I still take that same pride. And I'm going to hang on to that pride to the very end. I don't care how many big businesses and or stores and chains people own and buy. At the end of the day, there is always people wanting to know the history and the beginning of where this the industry come from. That's why right now you got a hip hop museum that exists on Sunset in Hollywood, or is it on Hollywood Boulevard? It's on one of them Boulevard.
Yeah.
Hollywood Boulevard. You see what I'm saying? Because people want to know the history of hip hop. And there is a good history of hip. That's why they have history museum.
Yeah.
One day, and I said this first, y'all, I'm going to create the the Cannabis History Museum. With that, on that note, we're going to check on out here. We hope y'all enjoyed the show tonight. I'm looking forward to our guest next week. We're going to dig deep in. And we not, let me just be clear. We're not here to be downers about the industry. We just here to keep it real and let y'all know.
Yeah. We clearly still in it.
Yeah, it's
still fun.
It ain't all apple pie and sunshine in this industry. We have to let you know what's the grit and the grind and everything that we do to dig in to maintain what we maintain in this industry and do in this industry.
Right.
From real players, like I told you, real cannabis talk from real cannabis players. You're going to get that here on Token Tuesday. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, to that dude that sent the little message or email out, I wanted to respond to you personally because you asked me, did I take Token Tuesday from somebody, some guy that was doing Token Tuesday? And I watched his show. And if you really watched his show and our show, you see that it's night and day. Night and day.
Yeah.
We're talking about,
first and foremost.
Yeah, we're talking about real cannabis issues from people who actually own and operate in the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Not some smoker that's just sitting there smoking weed and talking about the weed they smoking.
And we've been running Token Tuesday on Token Tuesday.
Exactly. That's not the cannabis industry.
That's been a promo that's been running since 2019.
Come on, man.
So, we just decided to finally...
But I guess my point is, the point I'm making is that we ain't just sitting here talking bullshit.
No.
We could be in a garage talking that shit, but we here giving you real facts in the cannabis industry from people who actually have been there, done that, and is still doing it.
Man. I don't know who that dude is, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look him up, man.
Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to respond personally to that. Say, man, maybe if you watched a good segment of our show, you realize that what we give versus what other people are giving, it's like night and day. And you can always ask us real questions, serious questions, and we can come with the real answer. That's one thing it will give you is factual answers. So I want you guys to go down there, click on the button, subscribe, and if you have any comments to say, we're positive or negative, it don't matter. Send them all. Go in. Let us know, email us, DM us, whatever. Our Instagram is there, California Cannabis WC on our Instagram.
I added it right there
just,
for you.
Look down there. You can hit us on this podcast on our website and give us some comments, give us some good information. And if you even want to get on the podcast, we willing to let you on the podcast if you got something positive to say, or if you got something real to say, to the people like we are, spitting real stuff. So with that being said, we're going to tune on out. You got something to say before we go, Mr. Keefe?
Yes, Virgil, one good thing. We need to get a call to action. If Robert F. Kennedy is elected as the Department of Health Service, if need be, we need to have hands on 100,000 to 1 million people to walk on Washington and demand something better. The corruption in FDA. How the hell you got all these forever chemicals in our food, but you want to tell us that we can't have cannabis? Enough is enough. And this is a call to action out to everyone. Let's march on Washington. Let's change.
Style is what Keefe is talking about, and I agree with you. I agree with a march on City Hall. I agree with the march on every state capitol. I agree that if we connected with every cannabis state and agreed that everybody would do this all on the same day and get media attention, to me, that's how we'll make some noise.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying? So, hey,
That's right, Keefe.
With that being said, peace out to y'all. Thank you for tuning in to Token Tuesday. And until then, we will holler at you. Marco to my right, Ruvie, who had to bounce up out of here, and Keefe over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Peace. Until next Tuesday.
Until next Tuesday.
Token Tuesday. It's what we do. We just sit around, smoke a pound, and talk about what we do in the cannabis world. We gon' let you know how the business go on a brand new show. Token Tuesday. Show you how to do it right. You need